Okay, here's a small video where we'll talk about electric fields as they behave with their associated single point charges. So this is just going to be an example to help visualize electric fields as vector quantities. Because we can see the charge, but we can't see the electric field. So how do we represent this? How do we visualize this? So here, let us take the xy plane as follows. And suppose we have a point charge of Q at the origin. Now, this single point charge can either be positive or negative. Now, when that charge is positive, we see electric fields will point away from it. Now, when that same charge, let us now assume it's negative, electric fields will start to point towards it. Now, you'll hear some people say that electric fields always point from positive to negative charges. And that's true. Because of conservation of charge, any system must have electric fields moving from positive to negative charges. However, I sometimes find subscribing to this naive view that I've drawn in green also helps as well. So, now let's go ahead and pick some arbitrary point in space. Let's say we pick this point over here, and let's call this point A. And point A, let's say, has coordinates of xa and ya. Alright, so we see that there's some distance over here between our charge, Q, and our point A in space. So for just this example, let us say that Q is positive for now. So what we can do is draw an imaginary line from Q to point A. Next, we can then recognize that the electric field must point away from that charge. So we can extend this line with an arrowhead pointing away from that point charge. And that is our electric field vector. So we're going to have a follow-up to this now. We did this considering that Q was positive. But now what happens when we say Q is negative? We can draw the same imaginary line, but recognize that electric fields will point towards negative charges. So at point A itself, again, we see the electric field will point in a line towards the charge Q, if that charge is negative. Okay, so now we'll make a follow-up to this. In a coming video or the next video, we'll talk about how do we describe now this electric field vector mathematically.